Welcome back to another Swords and Stitches. Today we are going to be making a very creepy cross stitch. So what we're going to do is we are going to make a little grid of a creeper face, and we are going to put it on the sweatshirt with the normal materials that you would need for regular cross stitch, except this is going to be our base. So it should be pretty fun. This is actually the first time I've ever done it, so let's attempt this. I'm excited. What you will need is a piece of paper or cardstock to make your grid on. It's important to make a grid in projects like this because then you can specify how many of what color needs to go where. It's the same thing that you would do if you were doing some sort of a perler project, but definitely need the paper, definitely need a pen, not only to make the grid, but also to put little dots on here so that we are fully accurate in how big our squares are. Some sort of a ruler or a square so that you can make sure that everything is a perfect line. The embroidery thread, today, obviously we need green and black. If you were doing a creeper from within the game, you would need all sorts of forms of green, but we're just gonna stick to one green today. A tapestry needle, so that you're not harming the fabric that you're using at all, and it just makes it so that it's easier to wield. I brought a seam ripper, just in case I mess up, which I'm totally not going to. And then a fabric ruler. You also need a shirt. Did I say a shirt? You need a sweatshirt. Something that is not stretchy, because if it's stretchy, then it might turn out that what you thought was a square wasn't a square anymore. So first what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna determine how many squares I need. So let's take this guy, for example. Now we might say, this is a full 1 square. But that wouldn't necessarily be right because these right here are 2 squares. So I'm gonna just count along and say, all right, so if the eyes are 2 squares, then that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we know that we need to get 8 squares across. So how big do we want them to be? Well, if it's just gonna go right here, then let's try to measure it out a little bit. So we'll do from there to there. You can go through with the square, if you have one, we'll just do some of this. Just make sure every time when you slide it over that it's lined up. So then, just flip it over and we make the same marks. So I settled on 3/5 of an inch square, and hopefully my lovely editor can put in there what that is in metrics. Thank you so much, Erin, so that all of you who use metrics know what I'm talking about. Basically just going through, making all my little squares, and then I'm gonna mark which ones are green and which ones are black. So now we have our little grid. So now we can look at our lovely example here again, and we can say, all right, so all the way across the top and across the bottom is gonna be all green. So we'll go G, 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 and eventually they're gonna look like 6s, and maybe eventually they'll look kind of like they're part of Naruto. Wait a minute. Yeah, here. G, 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 G. So now we can go 1 green on either side, and then it'll be 2 black, 2 green, 2 black. Now, this might look just silly. If you want, you can go over it with actual colored pencils or markers, or even just take the pen or pencil that you're using and fill in the spots that are black. But this is gonna help you a lot because you can check off next to each row after you've done it and make sure that you get them perfectly right, especially for big projects. It's gonna be hard to keep track of everything and possibly mess up, but that's what the seam ripper's for, which we're totally not gonna need to use because we're gonna nail it. So now we take our magical thing that I didn't realize it kind of has a grid on it already, but it's diagonal, and that's not what we want. We want something that's gonna show proudly right about there, yeah? I'm gonna grab some scissors. I'm gonna cut this guy out because that way we can mark where to start and end with our ruler, and that'll just make it a little bit easier on us. So now you can place this down. You could even pin it down if you wanted. There are some people who I've seen do this project by printing off a pre-made grid and then pinning it to a shirt or a sweatshirt and then doing the actual sewing, which is hard. I've actually tried it before. It's very hard because it winds up giving you unreal expectations of what the X's look like until you've pulled the paper away, and sometimes they just look really bad. They're not actually X's in a perfect square at all. So I'm actually just going to mark all of the corner points, and that way I don't have to draw a grid on there, but I'll see where all of the points are supposed to be that I need to thread through. It'll make sense as we go. All right, so we have our grid down and ready to go. So now we just need to decide what color we're gonna go for first. Since there's a lot of green, I figure I'll just do the green first, why not? So then we take our green and we thread it through. Make sure that it's doubled up, because if it's only one strand worth, you're gonna have a bad time. The time before that I was mentioning, when I tried to do this with the paper pinned down and everything, I also only used one strand worth, and it didn't provide as much sturdiness as I needed in order to be able to feel like I could even wear it, let alone wash it. So, got it, tied a knot at the end. So now, we get to thread. So for me, the easiest way to do this process is to start in one corner. I'm gonna start at the bottom there and then go up to the diagonal corner like that. Thread it through. Make sure that it's not too tight. I accidentally pulled that a little bit too tight, but you honestly don't want it to be that tight. And then you're gonna go straight down to the next one at the bottom, and we're gonna do that exact diagonal all the way across, and then we're gonna come back and do the other part of the X's. It's nice because not only Minecraft, but just sprites in general really lend themselves to cross-stitching. A lot of people do cross-stitching of them. So it's something that you have a lot of material that you can work with if you are interested in ever doing this project. So I decided to go around and do the entire outside so that once I got back to the corner, I could just work my way through and get all of the other green. So now we're gonna come in here and get all of this green in here, and then just hop over where the black is supposed to be, get all this green in here. We wanna do everything of one color that we can before we switch over to the other color. Yes. So see, I did this next line, and where the black squares are, I literally just hopped over and then just started the next one. So then we can come back over the same way that we did these crosses. We can come back over and X these ones and then just move our way up. So it's pretty simple. You just gotta keep an eye on your grid because it helps you a lot. Okay, so we have all of the green on there. As you can see, you can still see a little bit of some of the dots. Make sure that you're using a pen that can wash out, or use chalk. They make really precise chalk pens now, and that comes out of clothing so easily, but there are some types of pens that can also come out. So now we're gonna do the black. And once we've done the black, it is all done. Some people decide to iron the back of it to seal it all in. I won't be doing that, but if you wanna, you totally can. There it is! We finished it off. I literally just stitched it on there, threw on the sweatshirt, and now I got a cool creeper hoodie. And I'm very excited about it. I think that you could do a bigger project like this. Definitely just take your time, make your grid, and then you'll have something super cool. And any Sprite could work, any Minecraft thing could work. The possibilities are endless. So thank you so much for watching. If you decide to do this project, I hope that you will send me pictures or a video. I would love to see it. And if you want to know the materials that I used, I will put a list in the description, as well as links to all of the things in case you want to just buy them straight up. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching Swords and Stitches, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye. Mwah!